We just had the tiniest little storm roll through. I was out here harvesting the patty pan squash and it started lightning and thunder out here, so I had to go in. But this is what I picked so far. They're huge, but the great thing about these scallop squashes or patty pan squash is that they stay tender for quite a while even when they get big. So these are a good size right here. These are quite big. I usually don't let them get that big, but that's okay. And then I've got these over here, and these are two different varieties. You'll notice that one is kind of skinny and it's not so much of a bowl shape. These are the Peter Pan ones, and they're supposed to be green, but I think because I let them get so big, they ended up being white. And then these are your regular scallop squash. And this variety is really great for like taco boats, things like that, because you could turn them into a little bowl or curry bowls. But these again are a little bit big for that, but that's okay. I'm gonna quarter these up or slice them up and freeze them, and then I'm gonna give some to the chickens also. This is a great food for chickens if you ever want to grow your own chicken feed. I am gonna do a video though all about growing a garden for chickens, because the ones that I've seen online are not really what you should be feeding your chickens. So I want to do a really good extensive video on that so you guys could start a garden for your chickens, because believe it or not, you can grow all of your own chicken feed even through the winter time. So in here it looks like a mess, but you'll see that there are yard long beans in here ready to harvest, and some that have gone too long, but that's okay because we'll save these for seed since I grow them every year. I grow a bunch of these every single year because I just love these. So like these ones have gone too long. If the pods are real wrinkly, then you know that they've gone too far. Same with these. And you could, that's if you want to eat them like green beans. If you want to eat the beans inside instead, you could still harvest them at this stage and just harvest the beans out and like fry them up, or use them like you would any other bean. Got a little purple bumblebee tomato here. This is one of my favorite tomatoes to can with. And I planted several of these. I started these from seed, so the plants are a little smaller than my other plants, but I love those. These are the atomic grape tomatoes, although they're kind of ripening up to an orangey color instead of staying like the purple. So I've never grown these before. This is my first time. So we'll see how they do, but here's another one. There's a bunch on there, and I have a bunch of these plants in the garden, so we'll see how well those tomatoes do. This zinnia is so pretty. I'm gonna tag it because I just love the color. It's very peachy with a little bit of baby pink on the edges. Really like that. And then that really light pink one I really love too. So in here it just looks like a mess because this is all my cucumbers and my long beans just growing on the ground. And I could still put a trellis up on these and they'll still climb, but I just don't have the time right now. But here's what they look like, and here's a leaf-footed bug or squash bug on there. If you spray these with BT, it'll get rid of all those, but I hate those. These are red noodle beans. They're also a long bean. You can harvest them at this stage. I like them to get a little bit bigger than that. But you can see them all growing here. The flowers are really interesting. That's what they look like. But they're very prolific. In the back here, you can see that the green beans are done for the most part. I'm going to be pulling these out. Some of them still have some blooms on there, but you can see there's a bunch of beans that need to be harvested. So I'm going to harvest some of the younger bean pods, and I'm going to leave the rest to go to seed, and then I'll be pulling these out in the next week or so, and we'll get something else put in there. I'm not sure exactly what I want to grow in there just yet. Squash plants are still doing very, very well. And you can see they're still producing quite a lot in there. The rain kind of weighed the leaves down a little bit. These I waited way too long on, but that's okay because I will seed save these. And I actually don't grow squash throughout the summer. I end up pulling them up for a period of time, usually in July, and then I grow something else, and then closer to fall, about September-ish, I will plant another batch. So, yep, there's a bunch of zucchinis in there too. Look at these orange currant tomatoes. They're the size of currants. And they're pretty good. I grew these a couple years ago, and I decided to grow them again this year because I want to can some of these and make like a salsa that's just whole tiny little tomatoes. So I'm hoping that these will produce a little bit more for me this year. There's a bunch of cucumbers in here, but I let them go too long. Look at this. These are pickling cucumbers. They're the SMR cucumbers. And I haven't been picking them, so they're huge right now. Here's a smaller one. I was hoping to get more at one time so I could pickle them. But I'm gonna go ahead and pick some of these for Brooke because she loves just eating raw cucumbers, and so does Becca. So these are kind of funky shaped. If you're wondering why you get funky shaped cucumbers like this, especially ones for pickling, it's inconsistent watering. There's no water ran out to these cucumber plants. So it's kind of spotty on whether or not they get water, and that's why you get these abnormal shaped fruits. So if you're wondering, that's why they look funky. Here's a little bit better shaped cucumber, although this one, I don't know, but this one's definitely not supposed to be this color. It's probably just older, but we'll see how it tastes later. This one feels pretty good. Usually if they're pretty firm and hard, they're gonna be good. Cucumbers get soft when they get too old. This one's a really good size for pickling. I really want to pickle some baby cucumbers, but I just haven't had time to really come out here and look for them. They're kind of hard to see, but I really want to do pickle some cucumbers that are about 2 inches long, because I really like baby cucumbers or baby pickles. Goodness. Now this is an Asian cucumber, and they're so good. They're supposed to be this big, but you can harvest these when they're small too, just like any other cucumber, and they're great that way too. But these are perfect for cucumber kimchi, so I think that's what I'm going to do with this one. Here's another one of those Asian cucumbers. It's a little bit smaller. This is a really good size too. My daughter likes eating these when they're about 4 inches long, and they tend to have a little bit more of like a wrinkly ridge to them, kind of like this one does. And they're so delicious. So, so good. Here's another Asian cucumber. There's one more in here, at least. Let's see if there's any more that I can't see. They're kind of camouflaged. Hard to see sometimes. Sometimes I'll be in here digging around for them, and there will be like a few like right in front of me, and I don't notice them. I think that's it for those. Got a few more ground cherries today. Excited about that. Oh my, it's been so hot that I forgot to do an update on the row of gladiolas, and they just look so sad right now. These are the 200 gladiolas that we planted a couple months ago, and they're all spent for the most part. And the rain has made them look really oogly. But I'm sure you could imagine just how pretty this site was when they were all in bloom. And some of them have yet to bloom still. So hopefully, like this one just came up. So that one will be pretty soon. And these over here were gorgeous. And I'm so sad that I didn't get them on video. There was this really, really pale pink one that I really liked. Here's another one. So I'm really sorry that I didn't get that on video for you guys. Also, the blue Hilda beans, not so great. They do not like the heat. As soon as it got hot, they just kind of fizzled out. They're still alive. I'm going to keep them in for as long as they want to live. I did get a few beans out of them. I'm just going to save them for seed, and I'm going to replant them in the fall in the shade. And they're still blooming. Some of them are still blooming, but they just look really sad. They look like they're struggling quite a lot. So I'll probably try those again, but I'll probably use them as a fall crop, or I'll plant them in full shade like I do some of my climbing lima beans. Are you gonna eat all these? Okay, and then I have a few more over here. I'm just kidding.